In this episode, we're tearing down a Kove 450 4-cylinder engine. Let's see the quality of the materials used, and see if we can figure out whose design they've copied. Didn't Boss Zhang say that if anyone could identify the original, they could get $140,000? Removing the clutch cover. This clutch cover looks a little bit like Honda's. The stator coil is right here. Let's check the clutch first. This clutch is made by Daido. The entire clutch body has undergone Micro-Arc Oxidation treatment. The goal is to increase the wear resistance of the aluminum. This process was previously used by KTM. This clutch inner hub looks like the one from the KTM 790. Take a look and you'll understand. Currently, among domestic brands, one using this process is Kove Teardown, and the other is this Kove 450. Look at the area surrounding the clutch. They didn't want to waste even a tiny bit of space. They really worked hard on lightweighting. The magneto rotor is also lightweight treated. Look at this clutch inner hub. Fully anodized in all directions. Look at the bearing in the middle of the hub. It uses a Japanese NTN bearing. Now let's look at the clutch plates. After asking Daido, these clutch plates are made of paper-based material imported from Austria. Look at the clutch outer basket. Is anodizing free this year or something? It should be said Kove really put in the effort. Even the outer basket is anodized. For the oil pump chain, they even installed a guide plate. This way, you don't have to worry about it wearing down the engine block. Now removing the water pump. This layout is incredibly compact, have you noticed? Every empty space is used to fit a water pump. Next, we start removing the cylinder head. Kove defines this as a performance engine. Its compression ratio has reached 12.9 to 1. As for the spark plugs, no surprises. They use iridium plugs with a heat range of 9. Perfectly matching this compression ratio. So when you replace them later, pay attention to the heat range, don't choose the wrong one. Let's lift its skull. First, let's admire the inside of the cylinder head. The arrangement is quite neat. At this step, I still can't tell who they copied. Boss Zhang's $140,000 won't be easy to get. For the sake of lightweighting, this camshaft bridge is really well made. Minimalist, good looking, and not heavy. The bridge sections are connected for the oil passages. See, the whole assembly can be lifted out together. If it weren't for the oil passages, it could probably be even thinner. Now for the main attraction. Finally, on a domestic engine, I see alloy steel camshafts. Before this, there were none. These camshafts also have oxidation treatment. Let me take a Ninja 400 camshaft to show you. This one is also alloy steel. Compare the materials yourselves. In my previous works, the Yamaha R6, as well as those legendary BMW and KTM engines, they all use alloy steel. This is a must-have for performance engines. Kove even thoughtfully added oxidation treatment. It can give you 16,000 revolutions per minute. It seems the hardware is well prepared. Looking at it this way, aren't the camshafts beautiful? Alloy steel camshafts are hollowed out in the middle to reduce their weight. Let's compare it with another 4-cylinder camshaft. This camshaft is 1 kilogram. Now put the Kove one on. Look, everyone. It's 250 grams lighter than that one. Lightweighting really requires being meticulous about every gram. Look at the rocker arms, they are finger followers. First, let's talk about the advantages of finger followers. They are lighter in weight. with DLC, diamond-like carbon, coating. The friction coefficient with the cam lobe is much lower. And these rocker arms can be made very narrow, so it can effectively reduce the width of the camshaft lobes to achieve a lighter camshaft, further reducing the engine's internal resistance to improve engine performance. BMW and KTM use finger followers. Among domestic brands, in addition to Kove, we now have the Kove 450. But finger followers have one drawback. Their sound performance at low RPM is not very good. That's why when you listen to a BMW or KTM, don't they sound quite rough at low RPM? This Kove 450 is no exception. I'll play the Kove 450 low RPM sound for you to hear. These rocker arms are typical tractor at low revs, fighter jet at high revs. You all heard it, right? I'll remove these finger followers. Let's compare them. This is from the Kove 450. This is from KTM. This is from BMW. What is this exactly? Sacrificing sound for performance. I think it's worth it. Since it's a performance engine, the sound can be ignored a bit. Removing the head, let's look at the valves. The valves, looking at them here, doesn't look like they have DLC treatment. But there must be some hardening process on them. Since it's hardened, no need to overthink it. Hey, look at this piston. For the sake of the compression ratio, the shape of this piston is very unique. We all know DLC treated surfaces are black and shiny, with a high smoothness. So I feel the valves don't look like that. Look at the timing chain. It's from Borg Warner. Yamaha and Honda use them too. Let's look at the engine block structure. This is typical, slim where it needs to be slim, and solid where it needs strength. Look, here is where the clutch goes. After leaving space for the clutch, it narrows down quickly. This whole section is empty. No wonder it only weighs 46 kilograms. They didn't want any extra fat at all. Look at the screws on this block. The tool marks on the new machine's screws are quite obvious. If you refer to KTM, they are all like this. People with OCD might find it hard to accept. Of course, I also hope Kove can improve further in terms of assembly. This video is quite long. Please be patient. Removing the oil pan. This engine has an internal oil filter. The filter element is here. This is the strainer. And what I'm removing now is the oil cooler. It's made of pure aluminum. Now removing the oil pump. Getting ready to open the main case. Whether it's aluminum bearings or copper bearings will be revealed soon. Alright, looking at it this way, it's definitely copper bearings. You can tell by the brightness. The countershaft bearings are from Renben. Look at this sprocket. Confirms it's a brand new machine, right? Removing the connecting rods. It uses fracture split rods. KTM and BMW 4 cylinders and the domestic Kove are all using fracture split rods. Now Kove has caught up too. Okay, let's look at the bearing shells. The shells are copper bearings from Daido, Japan. I scraped a bit off the shell. You can see the copper, right? For a 16,000 revolutions per minute machine, it definitely cannot use aluminum bearings. Removing the crankshaft. The color of this crankshaft looks like it had an extra layer of nitriding process. Next, we can look at the pistons. These pistons are definitely forged. They are all coated with molybdenum disulfide. The top has undergone micro-arc oxidation, MAO. Micro-arc oxidation. The crown is ceramic coated, which effectively insulates heat. The specs here are basically maxed out. And I found another little surprise. Something I've only seen on BMWs and track bikes before: DLC-coated piston pins. They actually have these. Honestly, I've never seen this in a domestic engine before. Even a small piston pin got so much effort. Big thumbs up to Kove. Connecting rods are made by Jiangdong Machinery. Just when I was thinking if Kove could even make any money with these specs at this price, I was starting to suspect Boss Zhang was doing charity. Finally, I found a relatively ordinary spec. It's this cylinder. It doesn't have an all-aluminum alloy cylinder, meaning an all-aluminum block. It uses cast iron cylinder sleeves. This cylinder block is actually not as good as their own 321 engine cylinder. All aluminum blocks have better wear resistance and heat dissipation. You can tell just by using a magnet. But then again, this price totally justifies the engine's configuration. Asking for an all-aluminum cylinder would be too much. Look at the main bearings. Also from Renben. The gearbox parts also have specialized oxidation treatment. Kove offering these specs at this price is truly impressive. Even though the cylinder isn't perfect, it's still an incredible value. Also, you really can't tell whose design this engine copied. But you can see, it definitely borrowed strengths from various engines. First, for a 4-cylinder with the timing chain on the left, you'll have a hard time finding another one. The finger followers, you could say they were borrowed from KTM or BMW. But among 4-cylinders, only BMW uses this finger follower structure. Then look at the shape of these bearing shells. Only BMW and Kawasaki use this 1-hole/3-hole design. Like this. They definitely reference them more or less. And this tensioner clearly looks like Honda's. You could say it's exactly the same. The clutch cover is also somewhat similar to Honda's. I'll say it again, current domestic manufacturing is able to combine everyone's strengths to create a machine with its own original ideas, rather than just blindly imitating. This is already worth everyone's praise. This is a major step forward for domestic engine manufacturing. So I think the Kove 450 and the Kove 450 engines can be called the light of domestic brands. Personally, I don't think that's an exaggeration. Strictly from an engine perspective, of course. Thanks for watching. That's all for this video.